Big week for Justin Herbert. We've been talking about Justin Herbert since before the NFL draft. We both watched every game he played at the University of Oregon, and it was clear very early on that he had extreme NFL talent. And one of the reasons it was so important, you advocated for him to play right away last year before Tyrod even got hurt. I thought one of the reasons it was so important.
Hurt would be one way to put it.
Yeah, before they injured him. Yeah. But one of the reasons I thought it was so important last year for any rookie quarterback to play ultimately was it was such a unique opportunity to be able to play in not 100% an NFL environment. You weren't playing in front of crowds, but now you are. We're glad you're watching our video. Give it a like and subscribe to this channel.
You know that more than 50% of you are not subscribed? Do that right now.
We're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Also, podcast below in the description.
Now you are. And Justin Herbert isn't just playing in front of any crowd this year. Justin Herbert is playing in a divisional game against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in one of the greatest environments in all of sports, Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at last year, it doesn't really count, and he was awesome just because of the no fans. Week 1 was a big game and a big win, I'm sure, in a raucous environment with the football team. That they were feeling themselves. They thought they had a playoff level team. That was loud. To me, this is on a completely different level. You're playing the multiple back-to-back AFC champs, Super Bowl champion 2 years ago, and a divisional game. And I don't quite feel – it's weird with the Chargers, right? Like, there is legit hatred. Chiefs, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, back and forth, right? Those rivalries feel real. The Chargers are kind of in it, and it does feel natural when they're all playing the Chargers, but the hate I don't feel is there. Right, like when I was in the NFC East, you hated the Giants, you hated the football team, who were the Redskins at the time, and the Cowboys. Like they all four, like we're all enemies, right? The Chargers just kind of involved. They feel like they're in it. I do think it gets added to another level when they're good. And when we were younger, and the Phillip Rivers was really young, remember some of those LT low kneel teams? That was like they were kicking everyone's ass. When they're bad. No one really, just like, oh, let them be. Let's do fun Chargers, cool little powder blues. The Chiefs guy are coming off, I would say, one of their most devastating losses under, Andy Reid since he's had Mahomes as quarterback, just because they were kicking their ass. And it's one thing to just lose a random game where a team comes back on you. It is a foe for them, right, in Baltimore. This is a team they're going to probably have to see again potentially. And it's just another player who's on your level who just single-handedly made your defense look pretty terrible.
It's a heavyweight fight, and losing heavyweight fights usually has a physical toll.
Yeah, it sucks.
An emotional toll.
I think one of the reasons, as I was talking with a buddy on the Chiefs, he's like, we missed, when you watch the all-22, missed a million tackles. So it's this team, like Herbert doesn't, like Lamar created that. To beat this, like for Herbert to go into Kansas City and win, he'll have to throw for 350 yards.
Lamar ran for 100 plus.
And it was just down the stretch, first down after first down, touchdown after touchdown. It was crazy. Honestly, that second half, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that from a running quarterback in the league. That was stupid. So that's not going to be the case with Herbert. Now, can he just slice him and dice him? Well, the Chiefs are like, okay, they've never been a defensive-oriented team. Our guy will just throw for more. So can you outduel Patrick? Right? Who, on his standards, and this is, once you become on his level, like that was a down game for him. And he was still pretty good. Like most players would sign up for that, what he just did against the Ravens. But he's going to come out, and that team is going to come out to try to put up about 35. And maybe they don't quite get that, but I saw Bosa was kind of dinged up. It's hard to tell once the season starts with some veteran players. Like, are they giving him a couple, easing him in, and then they end up playing on Sunday?
Right.
You never truly know till Sunday with position guys, especially defensive linemen. But I do think Herbert, for them to win this game, he's going to have to play like Patrick Mahomes, which he has before in empty arenas when he was throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns and set the rookie. It's going to be tough. That place is going to be loud.
Well, look, when we start talking about you, like
it'll be the loudest game he's ever. I guess he played that Auburn game, huh?
But that was Jerry World neutral site. I don't know that was, there were Oregon fans there.
Because the loudest place he's ever played in would be his home place, and that was always pro.
And their crowd is great. They're very quiet when your team has the ball.
He doesn't have to do this.
He doesn't have to do that on the goal line, Nate Peterman.
Derek too.
when we start talking, when you're on the path to be great, winning matters very quickly. And remember last year, Justin Herbert, literally his first game, he got on the map with the way he played against the Chiefs. He played really well on last second notice against Kansas City and lost 23-20, but he played really well. And that was the story of the year. The story of the year was the Chargers could not take advantage of having this great quarterback and have it translate to wins. So they changed coaches. And now the conversation changes a little bit. Like, all right, we think you're elite. You and I think, I mean, it's clear. Anybody could watch him and go, most guys don't look like that.
I wouldn't say he's elite yet. I would say he has elite
skill.
talent.
He has elite talent. Yes. We think you can be that. Does it translate to wins, right? With the Bills, and Josh Allen constantly gets used as the example because it just 1 year built on the next year, bam, let's roll. And what happened coming into this year now? It's like, all right, Buffalo, like, are you really a contender? Like, are you really going to take the next step?
Saw a headline this week, Josh Allen, like, I haven't played well. We all know it.
This was I thought one of the big storylines coming into this year was there are people shorting Josh Allen because last year was so historically great. Like, did he just have the best year of his career last year? It doesn't matter if he does, if the Bills go to 4 AFC championship games in the next 13 years or whatever. Pick the numbers, right? If they just win and they're true contenders and you watch him and you think that team can win in the playoffs, then it's fine if he just had the best year of his career. Because ideally, your quarterback doesn't have to just carry you every year. But can you win games? And this is one where
they have to a little more once you start making $43 million a year.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's Allen got paid that way. Mahomes got paid that way. Herbert's gonna get paid that way.
That's where you can really take advantage. And I do think there's pressure if this kid's gonna be not Mahomes, but if he just becomes Josh Allen, you have to at least. And the Bills, they got to an AFC championship game and they made the playoffs here before. Like, they've been having success. To not make the playoffs when you have this rookie quarterback who's clearly pretty talented, and it's not going to be made or broken this weekend because you're on the road against Kansas City. Even if you went 4-2 in the division, this would be a lock, one of your losses, right? What are the chances that Kansas City goes 3-0 in the division at home?
Get in our DraftKings game. Sign up with the code HAM. The link is below. Go get in it.
Yep, promo code HAM. Also, mybookie.ag. You want to gamble this weekend? Use the promo code HAM1. Play some bets, right? Denver, Kansas, Chargers, Raiders. Like, they're going to be favored in all those games. Now, remember last year the Raiders won at Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, their defense isn't great. I mean, they could definitely just lose a shootout.
Their defense is not good. Their defense is not good.
No.
Frank Clark is MIA. They don't have, beside Chris Jones, and the front seven's not great. Their best linebacker is a rookie. They're just not that good on defense. But they would say we haven't really been good on the defense the last couple of years. We just need to play okay because our offense is elite.
And I'd argue, you won the Super Bowl, your defense was improved over the previous year, right?
Yeah, and it was really good down the stretch. So I do think there is some, just chinks in the armor for a powerhouse squad, which they have the ultimate trump card. We have the best quarterback every time we take the field. And as long as Hill and Kelsey are there with them, we like our chances. And they should, right?
But Chargers,
this could be an early moment. Remember, Mahomes had some early moments in his career where it's like, Jesus. I remember his first game as a true starter was on the road against the Chargers at Home Depot. And it was like, what the fuck is this? And then it just, and he did it against fans. That's where I think some of the antennas are out on Josh Allen last year, historic year, no fans. Herbert last year, unreal, sets this record, even though records are going to keep falling with young players, right? That's
what you would say if you don't think Baker's good, yeah.
Because
he broke Baker's record.
But even Baker's was inflated. It's like,
no,
okay,
I know. Look,
I'm not expecting
Justin
to win,
Herbert.
but I think he could have a great game and earn a bunch of respect, even in an L that's at like they lose 35-30, and he's awesome. They're like, okay, we got a chance.
No doubt. But Justin Herbert's the quarterback of the Chargers for many more years. Do they have their coach? Like, winning games is going to determine if they have their coach, because Anthony Lynn's staff made Justin Herbert look great, and that didn't get them anything. They got Anthony Lynn the job as Jared Goff's offensive coordinator in Detroit, right? So, They'd have their quarterback. The question now is, do they start winning games and do they have their coach? The Browns, credit to Baker, he fought through the muck to get to Kevin Stefanski. Now they got it figured out. Right? So, like, do they look like they belong just does their team look like it belongs? We think it should. There's no reason for it not to. But now it's a Brandon Staley thing. Because ideally, you got a great defensive coach. He can win you some games where Herbert's not great. Like,
yeah. And they got good defensive players. So it's like, as long as Bosa and Derwin James is on the field, they should be really – I mean, part of the reason you hired him, right, was because you thought he was a good coach. But defensively, he was elite with the Rams. And he's a Fangio guy. He's viewed as one of the better defensive minds in the league. Remember, Riddick told us of all the guys he talked to, Brandon Staley was like a genius.
Right.
I had a buddy that worked with him. Was like, yeah, he's really, really smart. And you just hear him talk. He can be a little cheesy for me. But it's just, maybe it's just him. I think sometimes I have to catch myself, like, is this guy being cheesy or just who he is? It's about, like, Russell Wilson. Maybe it's just kind of who Russell is, Because I saw him give this talk about his mental coach that died. And it was like, he just, I just think some people
Trevor
are just
Moat.
different. Yeah, just different maybe than me or you or whoever. We're all just kind of different. I just think sometimes when you're not a cheesy person, you see cheesy, you just expect this guy's a fraud or this guy's faking it.
Is it
and
real?
Maybe Brandon Staley is just being true. That's just who he is. Some guys are just, and I mean, I think there's just pressure anytime that you get, especially when you inherit this. Like that's a pretty good job, right? I mean, that's like looking back, like Jacksonville's a good job because you had the number 1 overall pick and this high prospect, but the job itself was pretty shitty. Team sucks. You don't have much talent. It wasn't even close. We talked a lot about this, and clearly he wasn't interested. And maybe the Chargers weren't interested in paying him. What would you guess? Urban Meyer makes like $12 million a year, but he makes a lot, right? Whatever the Jags paid him.
You think it's 12?
I was going to guess 12, yeah. Like 5 for 12 or something.
Yeah, I would have guessed like 9, 10.
Because his leverage would be like, yeah, I don't really want to do it. And they were somewhat desperate to just get some, like, a name. And it shows you how that works out. It doesn't automatically work. But Brandon Staley's much cheaper than – he definitely doesn't make as much as Urban makes. But his situation –
I always heard Urban didn't want to be in L.A. Like, I do think location, it made a lot of sense
for sure. For sure. So it's like, hey, we'll give you 9.5, no state income tax. It's the same as if they would have paid you 11 or 12.
Yeah.
But this is an opportunity for Brandon Staley to, like, change his career. I think it turned out once McVay got to the Rams, like, whoa, we got Aaron Donald, Goff, Gurley. Then we draft cut. Like, we signed Robert Woods. Like, we put together a team immediately, and I was just ready. Some teams like Gruden got there, he had to do some moving and shaking. Kyle had to, like, set it. Every team's a little different when you inherit it. LaFleur with the Packers. When you do get the opportunity, you do kind of got to strike, because then that builds up your equity with your, whether Chargers really have fans, but like with the guy that pays you, and it can lead to like a longer career and them help you go through some of the shittier times.
I also think it's good with a young quarterback to take pressure off of their careers early and just let them know, like, you're in a good spot. You don't have to be perfect every week. Like, we're supporting you. I think that's important for a young quarterback to understand. Like, it's not my job.
Saying with the defense or just
with the defense and with an organization. Like, it's not my job to go throw 4 touchdowns, no picks every week.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of pressure every week when you're playing Alabama every week, in the words of Urban Meyer. That's just a lot. Like, I don't think if you're a quarterback, you should not step on the field thinking I have to be perfect today or else we lose. And that's kind of what it felt like last year with Miami.
You think Deshaun Watson thinks his teammates remind him of playing Alabama? That's who they lost to week 1, the Texans. He's like, Vic, we're playing Alabama every week. I was like, you played the Texans week 1, bro. You didn't just play the Packers and Seattle back-to-back weeks. Even Vic's face was like, yeah, man. Yeah.
Vic kind of laughed like Vic kind of laughed like, yeah, bro. Welcome to the league.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the Nick Sabans when it comes to defense. That's probably what Vic's thinking. It's like, I've been running circles around offenses my whole career, man.
Hey, man, I've been here for 30 plus years. Welcome to the show, champ.
I think he's thinking, like, it's not just the players. There's more Nick Sabans, and I'm one of them. That's what Vic's thinking.
Yeah.
I'm one of the Knicks.
Kick your ass.
Yeah.